Some really strange things that's going on here tonight in the Nevada caucuses. It would suggest massive vote fraud across the state.
Mr. Voter, sir, I want to see what is going on in there. You're not making me leave. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I will never leave. You will never stop me. I'm here to defend democracy, and I want to see what's going on.
Mitt Romney still about where he was. Newt Gingrich's numbers are beginning to come down just a little bit. And here's why that's important. There were 500 precincts that were out here in Clark County with just 1,000 votes separating Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul for second place. Then there are a lot of precincts, a bunch of precincts at least, where there are disputes. There were more ballots cast than there were people signed up for that precinct. There were more ballots cast than there were people signed up for that precinct.
Because I'm a grandfather keeping care of grandkids at 9 o'clock in the morning, all right? And I couldn't get out the door. And it doesn't say that I couldn't vote before 9 or 10:15.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I tell you, when you're trying to build a good Republican base, you're fucking it up by doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Don't thank me for coming. All right? That's just being, spiteful.
Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Bill 1 Special Caucus. Paul Steinhauser is standing by. I take it it's getting pretty animated where you are, Paul. Tell our viewers what's going on.
What's going on right now? People are allowed to speak for 2 minutes about the candidate they are supporting. We had 6 people. They go by alphabetical order, Wolf. So Gingrich first. We had about 6 people speak for Gingrich, and now we have people speaking for Ron Paul. We've had about 10 people so far speak for Ron Paul. You can hear right now they're asking if there's anybody else that wants to talk about Ron Paul. We've had some animated people here expressing their support for Congressman Paul. A very boisterous crowd right now, Wolf. But it looks like we're done with the Ron Paul people, and I guess Romney will be up next. But it looks like we're done with the Ron Paul people, and I guess Romney will be up next. Wolf? Wolf.
Yeah, well, you know what I want to do, Paul? I want to just listen in a little bit, get a sense, a little flavor of what's going on at this special caucus. This is a Ron Paul supporter, I suspect.
On foreign policy in general, I know. Yes, first I want to say I'm voting for Ron Paul. Ron Paul for mayor. Came in, somebody interviewed me, and when they asked if I was a Paul supporter, I said I was. And they said, Nathan, this lady up there.
I would like to speak on behalf of Dr. Ron Paul. And Ron Paul.
Gentleman back and Nathan down here. And then in the back over there. I think we all know where Ron Paul stands on the fiscal policy.
Here's a Los Angeles Times story where basically a reporter was booted out of a caucus site, which is highly unusual. She works for a newspaper. She's there to make sure things go transparent. The person running the caucus site said no reporters. Basically, they booted her out.
Caucus goers cry foul, saying they were denied their right to vote.
So basically what happened is the GOP held this late night vote, and a lot of Ron Paul supporters showed up. A lot more than they was anticipating.
Every American should have a voice, and I feel that this is un-American.
And they were trying to figure out how to get rid of the Ron Paul supporters. Is basically what it sounds like to me from all the stories I've read, about 3 or 4 different stories on this.
I'd really like to go in. I'd like to caucus. Organizers and volunteers presented voters with a form, an affidavit to be signed under penalty of perjury.
So they concocted this little litmus test to prove that you were Jewish and you should be allowed to vote in that late night vote. And they was trying to make Ron Paul supporters sign a piece of paper that basically said they were Jewish.
It's asking people to lie. If they don't sign it, they're being turned away?
Yes, because they can't come in if they don't sign it because they're not, that's what they need to do.
Now this is the thing. We all know that in this country you cannot discriminate against people for religion, race.
Ron Paul supporters dominated the session, and this man who was turned away,
I'm going to keep going in there until I get my vote, and get my vote in.
He eventually found a way inside.
We need more freedoms. We need more liberty.
What the fuck, GOP? You can't do that. Are you crazy? I believe they've just violated every Ron Paul supporter's civil right.
An attorney who showed up to observe the process argued that turning away legal voters is a violation of election laws.
I would imagine that they would be concerned that they would be committing a felony by turning you away.
Some stuff going on in Washoe County. Basically, MSNBC at 8% had 298 votes for Mitt Romney, which is pretty consistent across the board. Everybody was pretty much reporting the same thing. Fox has got him at 298 votes at 8%. And we go over to CNN, and here's where the shenanigans start, and it's very obvious. Washoe County, 3% reporting. That's 5% reporting less than anywhere else. And we already have Mitt Romney at 1,500 votes.